Hey guys, and welcome back to Mad About Skin, and welcome to today's Saturday live stream and chat. Thank you so much for joining us, and we're going to wait for the room to fill up a little bit before we start taking your questions and answering any skincare related questions or anything that you might have on your mind. So guys, how has everybody been? Quirky Beauty, welcome to the chat. How are you? Thank you very much for joining us. It's been a manic week. I've been away for a bit, so I sorted out some uploads before I left, but it's been super busy and it's been a gorgeous week and just nice to have a little bit of a relax. But I'm back and I've got loads of amazing ideas for videos, so lots and lots of content to come. We also very excitedly hit 10,000 subscribers today. I was like, cannot believe it. I literally just blown away by everyone's kindness and generosity, and so I am very excited to be here, and hopefully we'll get loads of people join because I just want to share the love with everybody. So we have AC, hi from Taiwan, hello, sending a lot of love to Taiwan. Georgia, Adelaide, hello my love, how are you? Says Jay, hello, how are you? How's the weather in Jersey? Here in the UK it is gorgeous. It is like sun shining, warm, it's fantastic. Jenny, hello my love, how are you? Thank you very much. Congratulations on the 10,000. I honestly, like, mind blown. I started this channel 6 months ago, and I honestly thought at this point I was aiming for like 100 subscribers a month, and I thought I was being greedy, aiming for that, and now we get that like every day, which is just mind blown. But it's all because everyone's been so kind. Thank you very much, Georgette, that's really kind, my love. La Giraffe says hi, welcome. Nonna says, yay, new live. Yes, I'm so sorry I couldn't do last week's live. It was all just a bit manic, but we do these lives every single Saturday and 6 p.m. UK time. So come and join us, grab a drink of your choice, come and join us and chat. Let's just turn, I'm going to turn my camera upside down. Sorry about that, but it's just easier for me to like do it without interrupting the camera. Paula says hi Paula, welcome my love, how are you? Quirky Beauty says congrats on 10k. Thank you so much, Quirky Beauty. It's magical. I don't know what else to say. It was perfectly timed because I could do a quick video just thanking everyone for being a subscriber and being a supporter. But we have a full-length video coming tomorrow. Jenny says, you're looking fab, love. Thanks. Put a little shirt on for the occasion. It's been too hot here in the UK to actually wear anything but a t-shirt. So it's actually quite nice to wear a shirt for a change and dress up for these. The Beauty Bound says, well deserved. Thank you. Thank you very much, my love. And thank you for everyone joining. We've already got so many people in the room. So thank you very much. Quirky Beauty says, hello from Northern Virginia. Hello, I am desperate to go back to the States, literally desperate. I don't know where I'm going to visit. When all of this is over, I don't know where the first place I'm going to visit is in the States, but I'm desperate to get over there because I love the people, the food, mate. Let's be honest, it's the food. Everything about it is amazing. So hello to Virginia. We've got Vegan Games. Hello all. Hello Vegan Games. How are you, my love? I hope everything's good with you. Paula says hello from Cali, absolutely dying from the heat. Yeah, I saw online it looks like, I think there's a heat wave, and somebody told me like in Death Valley it was like the hottest temperature ever recorded on the earth ever, and I was like, it was something like 50 degrees, and I at the time was in like 32 degrees and been like, can't cope. So no, I don't think I'll be visiting Death Valley when I come over to the States. Chris says, hey Chris, how are you? Says Jay says, it's been raining non-stop in Jersey and very windy. Oh, it's really nice in the UK. Like, hop over from the Channel Islands. You don't have to quarantine when you get here or anything. Hop over and join us for some sun here. PYT says, hello everybody. Hello, welcome. Sophia says, yay, congrats, thank you very much. It's still amazed, literally amazed. Cat de Jesus says hello from Norway. Hello to Norway. I actually am desperate, just on a Norwegian vibe, but I really love going to Norway and experience the fjords and everything, and it's been cancelled 3 times now because of everything that's going on. And so when this is all over, Norway is going to be one of the first places I come on my cruise. So Steph says, congrats on 10k plus, Rob. Thank you so much. That's really kind. Rebecca says, hello from Florida. Hello to Florida, which I imagine is gorgeous and hot. Elena Fernandez says hello from Belgium. We've got a little bit of Belgium here. Thank you very much. If anyone has any skincare questions, by the way, link Doing a review on the Ordinary Buffet with copper peptides, which loads of you guys have been asking about on the back of the 5 best and 5 worst from the Ordinary product series, and comparing it to this, which is the copper amino isolate serum. So if anyone has any thoughts on either of those two products, let me know what you think. Like, do a heads up. History. Let me get my words out. Hitashima Roy says, "You look amazing and your skin looks so good." Thank you. Actually, because I've been wearing one of these face masks, when I flew, I had to wear one of the face masks. We have a bit of maskne going on, but you know what? It's the price we pay. I'm not too worried. So we have quite a few people from Northern Virginia. You see, we've gone international. Brit M says California. Oh yeah, Quirky Beauty says Death Valley was about 55 degrees. I feel so sorry for anybody that lives there. That must be just no. Jenny says you must come to Canada. This is it, Jenny. When I come over to Canada, we're going to go to the Decium store. We're going to shop till we drop, and then we're going to have an afternoon tea and a chill, and follow it up with some boxed wine. Perfection, absolute perfection. Sej says got some more art to send you soon. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, Sej J sent me the most gorgeous, I'm going to put it up on my Instagram if you don't mind, most gorgeous picture of artwork that she's done of me, and I was like, amazing. It was literally, I appreciate art so much because I can't draw at all. I'm the least creative person in the world, and so when I see someone do some beautiful artwork, I'm like, wow. So yes, I'm going to put it up on my Instagram. I was so impressed. Jana Barlow says, I'm from Yorkshire, Leeds. Darling, same here. Not currently right now, but I am originally from Horsforth in Leeds, which is like the north part of Leeds. So there you go, Leeds buddies. A great part of the country. Georgia Adelaide said, how did I get into skincare? Well, really just because I had terrible acne, and I know that's a bit cliche, and everybody says I started it because my skin was awful and nothing was working, but it wasn't. And when I was younger, I know I'm not like super old, but like skincare's come on so much recently, and if you think back to when I was younger, we had Clearasil pads, which literally used to scrub your face off, or we had Clean and Clear, and that was it. And I used both on my skin. Neither of them worked, and then I went to the doctor and took loads of antibiotics, which worked, but you shouldn't be taking antibiotics long term. And so my skin was a mess, and then I worked on just discovering some other stuff, and I still adore that product, and I put that on, and I realized that actually cleansing was really important. And then I looked into like BHAs and things like that, and it just kind of grew from there. But I think a lot of people get into skincare because what they're using doesn't work, so you research it and you find out stuff that really does work, and I was lucky enough to find stuff that really worked. So yeah, that's how I kind of got into things. Vegan Game says, will you transition to doing your YouTube full time? I don't know. I mean, I'd love to, don't get me wrong, I'd absolutely love to, but I did this because I wanted it to be a hobby, to share experiences and just share a love of skincare. And I did it originally for me, and kind of like I wanted a hobby during lockdown and something that I could share, and it's grown into so much more than that. In a way, I'd love to, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'd love to do it full time, but I don't want it to become a job. I want it to still be fun and be for me. And I know you can do a job and have fun at it, but I'm reluctant to do something full time because I still want this to be fun and doing it because I want to do it, and I want you guys to come along with that. Like I said, I'm working on my own skincare stuff at the moment, and I think when that launches in like 18 months time, then I think, yes, that might be the stage where I take the step and do something full term if it's still everything is going really well. Yeah, who knows? But at the moment, I'm just loving it as a hobby. But yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, I wouldn't knock the opportunity. Mark William, welcome Mark. Would you recommend for back acne? That's a really good question. So a lot of people, like, I don't understand it, but back acne, whatever you want to call it, it's kind of taboo. Like, it's really taboo at the moment, and people still don't want to talk about it, and I don't understand it. I would say treat the skin on your back and on your chest as you would your face. It's very similar in terms of thickness and some of the issues you can get. And back acne is usually caused by either hormonal, but it can also be caused by exercise equipment and exercise clothing. So when you're exercising, people tend to use like running gear or leather. I don't mean leather, latex, or not latex, what do I think? Lycra, there you go. And it actually can be really difficult for your skin to breathe. So if you're exercising and you have acne on the back or chest, try cotton. So try just wearing a t-shirt, something light fitting and cotton, and that will soak up the sweat and so take it away from the skin and make you less likely to break out. You should also use a gentle cleanser on there, and get one of my favorite products is the Paula's Choice body treatment, which is like an exfoliator with salicylic and glycolic acid in there, and use that on the back, and that'll just really help to minimize on the back. That's absolutely fine. But I would first start with a good exfoliator like the Paula's Choice body one. You can use CeraVe. I don't use CeraVe, the SA resurfacing, I think it's called, cream. I don't use it because they're not cruelty free, which is why I go to Paula's Choice, but it's personal preference because the CeraVe one is cheaper, so it's up to you. But cleanse, wear cotton rather than running wear, and definitely invest in an exfoliator. With my top tips. Brian Dempsey says, you've said in your most recent video that you've got results from using the Inculus Retinol for the last 18 months. I think this is a bit misleading as you're like for Drunk Elephant. I mix up my retinols, so I don't think it's misleading, but great question. And if you ever see something that you want clarification on, call it out. It's absolutely fine. I use a mixture of retinol. So at the moment I'm using tretinoin, which is a prescription strength here in the UK, retinol, to calm some breakouts I've got. I use the Inculus Retinol. I use the Apassione Retinol Cream by Drunk Elephant. I've stopped using that now for a number of reasons. I think it was too strong, and I don't particularly like Drunk Elephant as a company, but it is still a really good product, and I think you need to differentiate between the product and the company. And I tend to mix up my retinols depending on what my skin needs at the time. So I haven't used the Inculus Retinol solidly for the past 18 months. I've used it on and off. I quite like to mix. So if I'm using tretinoin, when I started using it, it can be quite strong. So I tend to use it one day on, one day off, and on the off day I use the Inculus Retinol, which is a more mid-strength retinol. So I like to mix it up. So if I say I've used it for 18 months, I haven't used it every single night for 18 months. So maybe that could have been clarified better in the video, so I'll take that feedback. But yeah, it does give really good results. And what I love about the Inculus Retinol is you can mix it. So you can use it one day and then use a stronger retinol another day if you want. And it can be a really good gateway into upping your retinol to something like the Drunk Elephant Apassione Retinol Cream. AC said, what do you think of the Bakuchiol from the Inculus? I love Bakuchiol. Now there's a lot of, I did a whole video on Bakuchiol, which I'll link up there if you're rewatching this. I can't link it while it's live, but I love Bakuchiol. I think it's a fantastic ingredient, and studies and science is there. I hear people say there's no scientific evidence it works. The science is out there, but if you read those scientific papers on Bakuchiol, what it says is you need to use it twice a day, not once a day. So everyone tends to use Bakuchiol like a retinol, so once in the evening. You need to use it twice a day to get the same effects as you would a retinol. If you want to cut out the side effects and the irritation from retinol, but still get the same results, Bakuchiol's great. There's nothing wrong with the Inculus Bakuchiol, and it works really well. If it was me, I would look to Paula's Choice, who do a combination retinol, low strength retinol and Bakuchiol, because I think you're getting the best of both worlds there. I think it's a 0.3% retinol complex plus the Bakuchiol. I really like that. So it's personal preference. There's nothing wrong with the Bakuchiol from the Inculus, but I like to mix retinol and Bakuchiol together to get the best results. That's just personal preference. Have you tried it though? I'd love to know what you think. Georgia Adelaide said, would like to know if there's a natural. I think sometimes we get a little bit confused with natural and non-natural. Niacinamide is a B vitamin. It does occur naturally in our planetary world. So it is natural. A lot of people can feel like they break out with it or it doesn't work for them, and I totally understand. But there isn't really an alternative to it. You could try something like licorice root extract, which will help balance some of the oil in the skin and also brighten the skin. So that's probably the closest thing. I'd say licorice root extract would probably be the closest natural alternative to niacinamide, but as with everything, it can not work for certain people. So I'd patch test whatever you use before you try it. The Beauty Bound says, if vitamin C serums break you out, what's a good alternative, especially for anti-aging? Well, vitamin C serums, I would say, vitamin C is fantastic, but find the one that works for you. So not all vitamin Cs will break you out. They do increase some cellular turnover. So when you first start using them, you might get a little bit of purging, but not massively. So just find the one that works for you. So if you like something oily and you're not breakout prone, you're dry, then go for something like the ethylated vitamin C by the ordinary, which is quite oily and hydrating. If you find you break out with oils, then you want to go for something oil free, then get the L-ascorbic acid powder by the ordinary, just mix it with your favorite oil free moisturizer. I'd say be a little bit, don't look for an alternative to vitamin C, look for a different product that's less likely to break you out, my suggestion. I actually think find a moisturizer that you love and add a little of the L-ascorbic acid powder by the ordinary in there, and that way you shouldn't break out beyond maybe a little bit of purging right at the start. You shouldn't break out beyond there. I've got super breakout prone skin and it works really well for my skin. Just before we continue, guys, if you haven't already, if you give this video a big thumbs up, it really helps the channel. I would love you. I can't comment about Face Theory. They recently reached out to me about a week ago and said, can we send you some products? We'd love you to try them. And I said, absolutely, I would love to try your products. I have never tried any of their products, which I know is scandalous because they're a really good brand. And they were so nice when they reached out. They gave me so much information about all their products and let me choose the ones that they thought, gave me the choice to choose what I thought would work best for me. So I'm going to do a whole review on Face Theory, but I can't tell you what I think yet because I haven't actually tried the products, but the ingredients look great and I'm super excited to try them. Annika, welcome. How is life in Sweden? Very hot and humid. Oh yeah, I think that's the same all over Europe actually, but congrats on 10k. Thank you so much, Annika. You're so sweet. Thank you so much. Surabi says, I have blackheads on my nose and have been using the 2% salicylic acid for the past 2 weeks, but it doesn't seem to be working. What should I do? Wait a month. All products, I usually say take about a month. If you apply them topically to the skin, will take about a month to work. So don't fear if they're not being removed by the first sort of 2 weeks. Give it a month. You can also use a retinol alongside it, which I find retinol really good at helping just to turn over the top layers of the skin to remove some of those blackheads quicker. But I would persevere with the 2% salicylic acid, which is the right strength. You are doing the right things. Just you might need to leave it a little bit longer. Give it another 2 weeks to work and then see. I would always say to people as well, take, if you can, on the phones are great, so take a picture of a before, then a month later take a picture again, because often if we're looking in the mirror all the time, we're our worst critic and we keep looking in the mirror and thinking they're not getting any better, they're not getting any better. Well, actually there might be, but it might be one blackhead at a time and you don't notice it because you see it every single day. So I'd always say before you start new treatment, if you're targeting one specific area, do a before, do an after picture, because I think our minds do lie. Stephanie says, hello, I love your channel. What are your thoughts about the skincare brand Algenist? Hello, Stephanie. Thank you so much. I love them, especially their collagen. Oh, yeah, love them. I just wish they were a little bit cheaper. They're quite expensive as a brand, and so a lot of the time people, this is the reason you don't see it a lot on the channel, because I tend to try and do cheaper, because I like skincare to be cheap and affordable. If something's really good and it costs, no issue whatsoever, but I like it to be on the cheaper side, so I don't feature them that much, but their collagen is beautiful. It's like a serum from the gods. I absolutely love it. Do you use any of their products? Would you recommend I try any of their products? Jenny says, I love the Buffet Copper Peptides. I use that serum AM, the Copper Amino Isolate Serum. I tried this. I think I marginally prefer the Neod one in terms of the texture. But it's £10 more, so it's kind of like, I don't know. I think both are fantastic, and I think I don't know, I'm going to have to, once I've run out of this, because I've got one more bottle after this to go through, once I run out of this, I'm going to have to work out whether it's worth £10 extra for the Neod versus the Copper Peptides by the Ordinary, but both are gorgeous. Mark Williams says, what would you recommend for back acne? Oh, covered that one. Sorry, Mark, so I'm reading your question again. And Catcher Jesus says, you are so wonderful. What is your best tips for winter skin? Hello, my love. Oh, that's so kind. When it gets below -23, where are you in the world? That is cold. That is cold. My recommendation, I think everybody should have a skincare routine for summer and a skincare routine for winter. You might have common products in both, but you need to switch it up. So many people just take their summer through to winter. No. So the things I would say for winter skincare: 1, don't abandon the SPF. Just because something is cold, it doesn't mean the sun isn't shining. A really good example is I go skiing once a year, or try to, and actually the snow reflects the thing, so you need a stronger SPF, not a weaker one, just because it's cold. Barrier repair is really crucial, because the wind and the cold can wreak havoc with our skin barrier, so get a good barrier repair cream. First Aid Beauty do a great one. Cicaplast Balm by La Roche-Posay is a holy grail for me, and apply it twice a day, so making sure you've got those peptides and lipids to really support the barrier. If you get really dry, you might want to cut back on your exfoliation. exfoliation, still exfoliate, but you might, instead of doing it every day with something like a daily toner, you might just want to do it twice a week. Listen to what your skin says, and I'd say maybe, you know, work out how often you need to exfoliate if you're very dry, and look at your retinol, maybe dial it back if it's making you really dry. Retinol can impair the barrier function of the skin, so if in winter you find you get really dry, dial it back a bit, maybe go to every other day instead of every night. Just work with what your skin's saying, but barrier repair is key. But great question. Chris says, at what age do you think is ideal to start skincare? Every age. The cop-out question is every age, because when we're younger, even when we're like infant babies, you know, they often have drier skin, so you would use a moisturizer. That's still skincare. But I think when we should start taking ownership of our own skincare, I'd say that is the time at which you want to own your own skincare, because that's the time when your hormones go all over the place, and so you start getting breakouts, you might get dry skin, you might get oily skin. That's the point at which I think you should start owning your skincare and using products to specifically tackle the issues that you have. So if you're 13 and you start breaking out, then a salicylic acid is going to be your go-to. If you're 14 and suddenly you find due to your hormones you get really dry skin, then looking for a repair balm is going to be great. So I think, you know, whenever you hit puberty is the time at which you really need to own your own skincare and start using products targeted specifically to you. Whether you do that through research through YouTube or you go to a specialist, a dermatologist or esthetician, is up to you. One thing I would always say, and I do always try to caveat this, is if you have acne, usually we start with acne, like it's very rare that you have dry skin in your teens. Normally you start with acne, you work towards the drier as we get older. I always say if that acne starts scarring, that's a point at which to admit you can't do it yourself. You need to go to a professional, esthetician, dermatologist, general practitioner, whatever. That's the point at which you need to say, actually, I need some help with this. So breakouts are fine. When they start pitting and scarring, then you need to seek professional help. But there is no, I don't think you can ever be too young to enjoy skincare. Just listen to your skin and what it needs at the time. Georgia Adelaide said, is there a natural alternative for azelaic acid and retinoid? Well, yeah, Bakuchiol is a really great plant-based alternative to retinol, so that's an easy one. Azelaic acid, no. But again, azelaic acid is natural in... It is produced naturally by the skin anyway, so I find a lot of people, if you use something like the azelaic acid booster by Paula's Choice, most people don't get sensitive to that anyway because it's naturally occurring on the skin. So it's quite a nice, already naturally occurring ingredient to have in your skincare routine. But in terms of retinol and retinoids, Bakuchiol. Firm favourite. The Biossance retinol, which is actually a Bakuchiol. Firm says, hey Dominique, welcome my love, how are you? Quaker Beauty is a slightly different part of skincare. Do you have any suggestions for a lovely lotion? I've suffered from some serious ankle injury a few weeks ago, and nightly Epsom salt soaks are dehydrating my body. Epsom salts are great if you have got a sprain or anything, but yes, they will dehydrate because they just suck the moisture out of the body. I would honestly, for lotions, I think body lotions, you can absolutely go for something fragranced if you want. A lot of people say, fragrance in skincare, I hate it, I won't touch it. It's up to you. Do you know what? If you like fragrance and you're not sensitive, this is Marks & Spencer's Body Butter, Shea Butter and Honey. This is super hydrating and it smells like honeycomb. It's divine. This is absolutely divine. I would say, I don't know where in the world you are, my love, but this, if you're in the UK, get this. £3, flawless. If you're not somewhere where you can go to M&S, go to the drugstore. So look for things I would look for is because you're using a lot of the product, look for something that's not too expensive. You don't want to be spending a lot of money on a lotion because you want to be able to slather it on the skin. I would go for cruelty-free, and drugstores often have some great cruelty-free options. I would ditch the brand, go drugstore, get a cruelty-free option, don't pay too much money, and get a scent that you like, because you're going to be waking up with it on your bedsheet smelling. You don't want a scent that you can't stand, which is often why some of the CeraVe stuff I don't like, because it smells like glue. And do you really want to wake up smelling of glue? Probably not. But if you can get your hands on this, which is the Marks & Spencer's Body Butter, anyone in the UK, buy this. Gorgeous, smells divine, cruelty-free, I love it. Before I move on to the next question, if you haven't already, smash that like button because I would love you forever, and it does help YouTube promote the videos to people that might not have seen it live but might want to catch up later. Brian Dempsey says, sorry if I've missed your question, can you link it below and I will definitely come back to you. Sorry, I didn't mean to. Sometimes when I'm scrolling through I do miss messages, so I'm so sorry, but I will happily answer your question. Saba says, what would you recommend for melasma on the cheeks? Well, there's a lot of things. So I did a hyperpigmentation video, which you might want to check out, which will talk about through some of the some of the things that you can do for hyperpigmentation. I love, love, love azelaic acid. I think it's a superb addition. I also like alpha arbutin, which is really light. It depends how quick you want to see those results. If you want next day, absolutely quick, deliver those results, I go for the Neod Repigment, which works with melasma as well as discoloration in general. If you want to take it a little bit slower and go for a cheaper option, which usually with pigmentation correctors, the more you spend, the quicker the results. But you could go for something like the different dark spot corrector, which works really quickly. I personally would just go for the Neod Repigment, which I think off the top of my head is about £35, but you get a lot of products, especially if you're just targeting it in different areas, and that'll work within about 2 weeks. Kat says, our scalp is attached to our skin and it can all be, it's all linked, it is all linked. So that is a really good question, Kat. Maria says, which is the best Inculus collagen booster or the ordinary peptide? Oh, people always ask me this question and I can never choose. I can never choose. It depends what you're wanting to do. So I love, love, love the Inculus collagen booster. I think if you can afford a little extra money, then I would go for the collagen, the buffet with copper peptides, which I think is $30, around the $30 point. That is so good at restoring that elasticity and the firmness in the skin and giving that real anti-aging impact. You get a powerhouse product and it's £30. It's expensive by ordinary standards, but it's fantastic. If you're working on a little bit of a budget, then go for the Inculus Collagen Booster Serum, which is cheap, cheerful, but also will take a little bit longer to see those results, but they will appear and it's a really good formulation. Both are super hydrating, so I would say whichever one you do, ditch your hyaluronic acid because you don't need it as well as. Both act as a hyaluronic acid and a peptide serum, but both are fantastic. I would go either the Inculus collagen if you're on a budget and want to keep costs down, or add the copper peptides in. It's just amazing. Sky Blue says, please suggest to me a good moisturizer for brightening and combination skin. Please, 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 please. I can happily do that. If you're looking for moisturizing and brightening the skin, then I would go for something which is azelaic acid based. So if you were to get the Paula's Choice Azelaic Booster, that will brighten the skin, but it will also really deep moisturize. You can also go for a peptide serum, so the Inculus Collagen Booster, which we just talked about, will have some brightening qualities because the peptides in there will help to brighten the skin as well. Or as a really good dupe and a really easy option is whatever your favorite moisturizer is at the moment, add a spoonful of the vitamin C. You will be glowing to the gods in like 3 weeks. I love that product, and you can just add it to your existing moisturizer, so you're not creating another step, and it keeps the cost down as well, which is really good. Matt Williams says, thanks for answering my question. It's a pleasure, Mark. Just to follow up, how often would you use the Paula's Choice Body Exfoliator? Well, they say you can use it every day. I wouldn't straight off. I would use it, if you just use it on the back, which is a little bit more resilient than the face, I would use it 2 or 3 times a week, or maybe just use it after you've had a shower. If you think your acne is related to exercise and gym, then every time you have a post-shower gym, so 2-3 times a week, however often you go. You can use it daily, but I think that's quite a lot to start with, and I'll build up to that. But great question. Gabby says, I love your videos. Thank you, Gabby. I have fungal acne on my forehead, oily T-zone, and extremely dry skin on my cheeks and neck. Recently, I've had really bad dry patches. Any recommendations? Yeah, so fungal acne is, well, first of all, I always say with fungal acne, it's very trendy at the moment. People have really discovered it as a form of acne in the last couple of months, year. It's quite difficult to tell the difference between fungal acne and closed comedones, which is a normal acne. So I would say if you're unsure, go and see a specialist who'll be able to diagnose it as fungal acne, because you need a total different set of treatment as you would for normal acne. I would say in your case, if you're sure it is fungal acne, is fine, you can still exfoliate. So I would use a BHA exfoliator on the areas where you have oilier skin. Do not touch the dry skin. On the dry skinned areas, I would use a lactic acid exfoliator, which will hydrate as well as exfoliate, and then cover the whole area with a rich moisturizer. Something like the Cicaplast Balm by La Roche-Posay is great, and that'll just lock everything in. BHA all over the face. So areas where you have the acne, use salicylic acid. On the areas that you're dry, use lactic acid, and then put the same moisturizer across the skin. That'll really help. Right, let's have a look and see what we have. Oh, I think the questions have stopped coming through, unfortunately. Let's have a look and see if I can get it working again. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. There we are, working at technology. I'm just going to scroll back to where we were so I don't miss anyone's question. I am useless when it comes to technology, guys. Let's have a look. AC says, I've not yet tried the Bakuchiol, but curious to know. Thanks for sharing. Yeah, I think you'll love it. I think it's a really good product. It works really well on a number of skin types, and you don't get the side effects that you get with retinol, but you do get the results. Always twice a day though. Studies only show it works the same as retinol if you use it twice a day. Pau says, I'm 24 and I have a line under my eyes. What do you recommend for it? With makeup looks so bad. Yeah, it can be really difficult if you've got dry under eyes. The lines at 24 will be just down to dehydration. So Matrixyl 3000 by The Ordinary is great. Any of those put under the eye and that will just hydrate twice a day under the eye. Leave it to sink in for about 5 minutes before you then put your makeup on, and it will be so much less visible. At 24, it's not going to be a deep set wrinkle. It'll just be down to dehydration. Make sure you're drinking plenty of water, which I'm sure you are anyway, but get yourself a peptide serum and that'll just keep it hydrated and it'll plump that skin up. Let's have a look. Paula says, any recommendations for someone who is starting on retinol? Yeah, my first recommendation for people starting on retinol is accept you're going to have a purge. You might not, but prepare yourself for it. Your skin might look worse before it looks better, so accept that and move on because it's worth it. I would say get a good moisturizer, a barrier repair moisturizer, something like the Cicaplast Balm, just because you're going to need to up your moisturization game, and don't do what I do and start full strength from day one. Work up to that strength and maybe do once or twice a week, then 3 times a week. Don't do what I always do and think, oh, I'm fine, once a day, it'll all be good, because you will pay the price. So follow the proper instructions and make sure you increase your hydration levels. I don't know if you've chosen a retinol yet, but if you haven't, then I did a video on retinol and it's worth choosing the one that's right for your skin type. If you're already quite oily, go for a gel. If you're already quite dry, go for a cream. That would be my top tips for retinol. Bexy says, hey, I'm so glad I've caught another live chat. Hello, Bexy. Welcome, my love. Hope everything is well. It is. And thank you very much for the congratulations. It still hasn't sunk in. I guess here's to 20,000. Who knows what's around the corner, but it's so great. And I always said on this channel, we'd give half of the money from the ad revenue to charity. I just think it's really important to give back. And, you know, I'm doing this as a hobby rather than a job. So it's nice to be able to give back. And I handed the check over to the charity. And it was over $900 that we were able to give. And I felt just like everybody is a part of that. Do you know what I mean? We've been able to change people's lives that little bit, and everyone was part of that. So thank you to everybody that's taken part. And if you've even just watched one advert, you've given a little bit of money to charity. If you've subscribed, if you hit that like button, whatever you've done, it's been fantastic. So thank you so much to everybody. Let's have a look. Pau says, sorry if my English is bad. I hope you understand the question. I did, my love. Your English is fantastic. It's a heck of a lot better than my French is, so no questions at all. Edward says, I really love your review on Pixie Glow Clarity Toner. I just got it from ASOS and I'm about to try it tonight for my evening routine. Enjoy it. It's really... A lot of people say they don't like it because it's got some fragrance in there and things. I like that. As long as you're not sensitive, it's great. It's a really good option. And let me know, promise me you'll let me know what you think of it, Edward, because it is a gorgeous product. Morgan Talk says, hey, congrats on 10k. Thank you, Morgan. I love your channel, by the way. Morgan's in the chat. If you haven't, check out her channel. It's really good. I'll link it below actually for the repeat, so anyone that watches it tomorrow. But thank you so much, hun. Chris says, congrats on 10k from Thailand. Chris, thank you so much. Sending lots of love to Thailand. Let's have a look. Sarah says, hey, Chris, I was wondering how you get rid of whiteheads. Thank you. Yeah, well, so really good question. So again, exfoliation is key, but I would really make sure that you don't pick them, don't scrub them. Doesn't help. Let them naturally come to the surface. Exfoliation will help, and retinol will help to prevent more coming. Whatever you do, don't scrape, don't scratch, don't pick. Just let them emerge naturally and dry naturally. You can use drying lotions if you want to get rid of them quicker. And the science is out there on whether they work or not, but exfoliation is key. And azelaic acid is really good if you get a lot of whiteheads because it's antibacterial, so it will keep the bacteria in them to a minimum. A couple of guys have said that the live stream might be a little bit slow. They always are. I don't know why. It's maybe YouTube. But you can always watch anything you missed back live the next day. From tomorrow morning, it's uploaded, so you can catch anything you might have missed. Jen says, how can I tell if my skin is purging or if it's just acne? It's the same thing. I would say if the acne has all of a sudden got worse and you've changed a product in your routine, that's likely to be a purge. If it's got worse and you've done nothing, it's just likely to be acne. That's the only way of really telling, because the two are, in a sense, exactly the same thing. Sarah Baker said, can I use any dandruff shampoo for facial fungal? No faces. It's a good question, Sarah. This comes out because a lot of people use Nizoral shampoo, which is an antifungal on fungal acne. It works really well if you have fungal acne, but the first thing is to make sure you actually have fungal acne, because a lot of people mistake normal acne for fungal acne and it'll just dry it out and make it worse. But Nizoral shampoo has an antifungal in there which will help. Like Head and Shoulders doesn't, so don't use any old dandruff shampoo. It has to be one with an antifungal. Nizoral is the standard one that people use. So Mark says, hey, could you please share your thoughts on lab science? Yes, Mark, I would love to. Lab science is, which I like, and I particularly like some of their retinol products. They're really good. They're a nice mid-strength retinol. In terms of BB creams, I don't use a BB cream day to day, so I can't recommend a specific one. But I'd say get one that has a factor 30 SPF in and use it, because then you get a dual product. I love SPF with a bit of coverage as well. I think it's a really, especially for guys, I think it's nice to have that light, barely noticeable coverage, but knowing you get the SPF as well. Rachel says, is 20 too early to start retinol? No, not at all. Just make sure you use the right retinol. So if you've got breakouts, so if you're saying you're using it for breakouts, and I would use adapalene, which is a new generation retinol, perfect for people with oily skin. You will get a reduction in your breakouts, and you'll also get all the other anti-aging benefits of retinol. You are I'd say 18 is really when you should be starting a retinol, but pick the right one for you. AC, by the way, still waiting on your video on pharmacy. Yes, it is coming. Do not panic. I'm going to say this week. It will be this week, I promise. Quirky Beauty say, what are my thoughts on lactic acid and retinoids? I'm currently doing lactic acid 3 nights, retinoids 4 nights per week. Would like to use retinols more, but leery of mixing. They mix perfectly well together. Lactic acid is hydrating, so if I was going to use an exfoliator alongside a retinol, lactic acid would be the one I'd do. Retinols will dry you, lactic acid will hydrate you, so they work beautifully together. Just make sure you go gentle on it, because they are quite strong ingredients, so you don't want to create too much sensitivity. But actually, lactic acid is the most one of the most gentle exfoliators, so I think you'd be absolutely fine to mix the two up. Kat says, what are my thoughts on Ren? Oh, I love Ren. Cruelty-free. They are available in the UK really widely. I love their glycolic acid. Their mineral SPF is great. If you have darker skin, then their mineral SPF genuinely doesn't leave a white cast. I love it. I love Ren. Some of their moisturizers I think are overpriced for what they are, but I love their exfoliators. I love their SPF. Absolutely fantastic. Let's have a look. AC, would you do a video on Versed? It seems like they have some good products. I included Versed in quite a few videos, but haven't done a standalone. So yeah, I'd quite happily do a review. Their retinol, vitamin C, sorry, is my favourite of their products. I love it. Edward says, so Edward's covering some other questions. So thank you so much. I love how everyone just chats amongst themselves in this as well, which is absolutely amazing. We have such a gorgeous community here. Ala says, what do you think about the Sand and Sky masks? Masks are pointless if they're not doing something. Sometimes masks is just a really nice way to de-stress and de-chill, and I think that's a really good way. A lot of our skin issues can be traced back to stress, so using a mask which just calms you, gives you 30 minutes of peace, is actually really good. So I love them. I absolutely love them. How can I, Jen says, Morgan says, I gave it a thumbs up. Morgan, you're a star. Do like Morgan. If you haven't already, give this video a thumbs up, because it does really help promote this video when it goes live tomorrow. Says Jay says, I've been thinking about getting Versed to find the light vitamin C powder. Seeing as the Ordinary always sold out, have I tried it? I have. It's not quite the same as the Ordinary, but the Ordinary, you're right, the 100% L-ascorbic acid powder is always sold out. So I think Versed is a really good alternative and a good dupe. It's a similar price point. It works similarly. I absolutely love it. So yes, go for it. But let me know what you think, because I've only tried it a couple of times. But I think it's a really good dupe when you can't get hold of the Ordinary. I'd always go for the Ordinary because it is cheaper, but it's Versed is just as good. Morgan Talk says, what do I think about luxury skincare? I'm from Pennsylvania. Good question. Really good question, Morgan. I like luxury skincare. I happen to go drugstore with my skincare more often than not, but do you know what? There's nothing wrong with luxury skincare. I just like to work out whether you're getting extra benefit for the price you're paying. So, for example, that Dark Orchid cream by Sicily, which costs like £120, is one of the best face masks I've ever used, and I would definitely recommend it to the world because it is a beautiful, beautiful product. Do I think you need to spend £120 on a mask? No, but it's definitely worth the money. The Neod stuff, you know, I've been raving about the copper amino acid isolate. This is a peptide complex. It's luxury because you can get a much cheaper peptide complex, but this is worth the extra money. So I think luxury is fine as long as you're not just buying it because of the name. You're buying it because you think the product works better, and some luxury products do work better. Bexy says, I recently received collagen drink shots as a free sample. What are your thoughts on products like this? Are they just a gimmick? So I can't speak for dietitians. I'm not a dietitian. I don't know what benefits it has to the inner body. I don't think the scientific studies that are out there don't show there's a meaningful correlation in the increased collagen from ingesting collagen. There is from applying peptides to the skin, but not to ingesting collagen. I don't think they're a gimmick and a waste of money. There's science behind it. Just my thoughts. You might want to check out the science, but that's just my thoughts on things. Morgan says, I really like the night retinol from Algenist. I do. That's a luxury brand I'm on board with. I love Algenist, and their night retinol is great. Edward says, I love the Marks and Spencer's bath stuff. So do I. Marks and Spencer's is great. I know loads of people don't go into Marks and Spencer's because it's a bit grannified, it's a bit past, no, it's not cool, it's not trendy. I get that. But their skincare is great. Walk past all the old clothes and get to the skincare and buy this, the body butter, and buy some of their bath stuff, and buy it. They have a really good caffeine solution for under the eye. They have a really good cleanser. It's all cruelty free and it's all really good price points. So Marks and Spencer's, yes, it's a bit pants for some stuff, but do you know what? For skincare, phenomenal. Let's have a look. Sean says, I love the Ren body serum. Yes. Oh yes, the Ren body serum is to die for. Definitely on board with that, Sean. Mark says, can we use the Paula's Choice 2% BHA liquid every day and use the ordinary AHA and BHA once a week together? You can. Absolutely go beautifully together. I always recommend using a daily exfoliator and then once a week using a supercharged exfoliator. Just make sure on the day that you're using the AHA BHA peeling solution, you don't also use the Paula's Choice. You don't want to use them on the same day, but you can absolutely use it 6 days on the Paula's Choice, then 1 day on the peeling solution. It's a beautiful combination. Let's have a look at this. The Beauty Bound. Any tips for getting rid of KP on the body? That's where we get the bobbly, the chicken skin, we call it. Yes, salicylic acid all the way. Increase your moisturization levels and put a salicylic acid on there. Whether you go for the CeraVe SA cream, which works, or if you want a cruelty-free alternative, use the body exfoliator by Paula's Choice, and then just make sure you're hydrating the area and make sure you're using an exfoliator. We always miss exfoliating on our bodies, and that's the best way. Don't use a scrub because a scrub will just aggravate the area. I get it on the tops of my arms. I know exactly what you're thinking. Kelly says, hello, do you have any tips for acne scars and acne scars in general? Yeah, so acne scars can be really improved by the application of peptides because that will help plump out the skin and sort of make them more go from like this to like this. I'm assuming you're meaning indented scars rather than discoloration. So I would get a peptide and don't be afraid to. You want it to stop. So absolutely exfoliate and use a peptide serum, which will help with acne scars. Stacey Moffat says, congratulations on the 10k. Stacey, thank you so much, my love. That's so kind. Elisa says, what do I think of face theory? That was answered a little earlier in the video. So Elisa, welcome if you joined us. And I have no thoughts on it yet because they're sending me loads of products to try, which should be coming this week. So I will tell you my thoughts in about 2 weeks' time when I've actually tried them. But I love the look of the ingredients so far. So I have high hopes. Have you got any products that you love from them? I'd love to know. Sarah says, many congrats on 10k. I'm the next Hiram. I wish. Sarah, if I was the next Hiram, I would love it. I actually watched Hiram's like my day in my life video, and he has a lush life over in Hawaii, very gel. So if I could be the next Hiram, I'd love it. But do you know what? I'm happy just with our fantastic community, and hopefully it grows and grows and grows. Who knows what the future holds? Canis says, can I use vitamin C while using retinol and glow tonic? Yes, you can. I would use it in the morning and use retinol in the evening, and the glow tonic works beautifully well with the vitamin C. So glow tonic and vitamin C in the morning, retinol in the evening. Beautiful. They'll all work together to give you that glowing, gorgeous skin. Heliosia says, congratulations on the channel. Have you heard about the brand Geek and Gorgeous? I have heard about Geek and Gorgeous, and I've been back and forth with them recently about choosing some products to review on the channel. So there will be a review coming, but we've just got to iron out a few little bits on the shipping. But yes, to come, I will give you a full review. Chat says, hey, great channel. I find you via Hiram. Hey, welcome. Lovely to have you. You're my go-to for all things The Ordinary. I love The Ordinary. Getting ready to check out your Inculist video after this. The Inculist, I think, a load of people say the Inculist just copied The Ordinary, and it's like, you know, it's not worthy, is it? It's totally different. I think The Ordinary have some really great standout products, and the Inculist have some really great standout products, and it's nice to mix and match between the two. Both are cruelty-free, both are drugstore and affordable. So I think you work out which product's best from each brand, which is why I did the best 5 and the bottom 5 of each of these brands, so you can kind of mix and match between the two. I love both. I love both. And thank you very much for joining the channel. Let's have a look here. Oh, I've just got to scroll back because some of these comments haven't come through yet. So there we are. So Kat says, thank you so much for both shout out and answering my question. It is a pleasure, darling. You are welcome anytime. I would love you to do a video on your face shaving process. Well, I've had this request quite a few times before, and I'd love to do one, but I have a really, really bad face shaving process. I kind of just go at it like that, and it's the worst thing, and I know it's the worst thing you can do. So I'm probably like the worst person to ask for it, but what I want to do is train myself on how to do it properly and then do a review so I can kind of impart the things that I've learned, because I do think shaving is, well, for men in particular, is a really robust exfoliation, so it's worth doing it right. And I know I do it wrong, but I'm useless. But I will review it, and I will do like a male grooming video coming up. Kenny says, what's best for hormonal acne? Well, there's a couple of things. First of all, I would go to your GP, your doctor, your dermatologist to speak to them about hormonal cures for hormonal acne. If it's really bad and it's leading to painful cysts, then they can recommend, if you want to go down that avenue, certain things like birth control and things like that, which can help with the hormone levels to decrease the flare-ups. But that's personal preference as to whether you want to go down that route or not. In terms of actual treatments, topical treatments, you just have to stick with what you've got. There's nothing that's particularly beneficial to hormonal acne over normal acne. I would go for something like an azelaic acid. Make sure you're exfoliating regularly, and just do what you need to do. Treat it like normal acne. If it's really bad and it's cystic and it's painful, then I would speak to your dermatologist, to your GP, to your doctor, to look at hormone issues that might be able to be resolved through something taken orally rather than a topical application. But really good question. Dominique says, my mum has these pigment spots on her face and she wants to get rid of it. I got her to use the retinol, but it's going so slowly, she says. So retinol will help. So retinol will definitely help increase cellular turnover and remove some of those pigment spots from the skin. I personally would recommend you also use a pigment remover. So you can either use, especially if it's only a few spots that you're targeting, either use the Differin dark spot corrector, which is hydroquinone based, or the Repigment, which is a gentler but just as effective product from Neod. Or if she wants to go slower and more gentle, then alpha arbutin by The Ordinary will work if you just target it on those spots that she has. And the alpha arbutin will take about 2 months, month to 2 months to show results. The Differin dark spot corrector will take about 3 weeks, and the Repigment will take about 2 weeks to show results. Keep using the retinol with all of those products, and it'll just speed up things for your mum. Hope that helps. Anti-aging product, I love them, and I think The Ordinary Buffet is one of the best. Quirky Beauty says, thanks for confirming it's okay to mix Bakuchiol and retinol. I've been alternating them. You can, yeah, alternating's great. It's I love Bakuchiol. I think it's a really, really good natural alternative, more gentle alternative to retinol, and I would definitely recommend it. If you haven't tried it and you're scared about retinol, definitely try Bakuchiol. Let's have a look. Macaulay says, have you had a moment to try the CeraVe resurfacing retinol? It's encapsulated. It is. It's not available in the UK, so I can't review it. CeraVe literally in the UK only have their moisturisers and cleansers. We don't get the vitamin C's or the retinol, so I haven't actually been able to try it. But I do know people that have tried it and said it works really good and you don't get too many of the side effects. If you were looking for a good dupe for it, I would say like the Inculist retinol is encapsulated, and low strength Naturium, their retinol is encapsulated, and low mid strength, so they're kind of dupes for it. Crystal says, which product is better for combo or oily skin to use, niacinamide or vitamin C? both. I'd recommend you have both. If you've got combo to oily skin, niacinamide will help even out the oil levels in skin, and the vitamin C will help diminish any acne, scarring, or darker spots that you have from breakouts. Use them both. You can use them both together. People say you shouldn't use them both together. I would just buffer it with a hyaluronic acid in between, and you'll be absolutely fine. So go niacinamide, hyaluronic acid, vitamin C. Good to go. Use both in your skincare routine. Shop at The Ordinary or The Inculist, and all of them will only cost you like £10. So it's really good to use all of them. Shazia says, is Differin gel okay for a 40-year-old, or do you think retinol is better? I love Differin. I think it's fantastic. If you have oily skin, it's a holy grail. It can be a little bit drying. So if you're a 40-year-old and have slightly oily skin, or maybe have a bit of adult acne, perfect to use Differin. If you haven't, I would go for a creamier retinol, which will help to offset some of the dryness that you might get, but it depends on your skin type rather than your age. But great question. Chris says, congratulations on 10k. Thank you, Chris, you're so kind. We've got Ruchira says, hello, I'm new to your channel and I really love your content. Thank you so much, I'm not so kind. Is it good to use niacinamide serum both in the morning and the night? You could use them both. I use it just on an evening because my skin I think I can overuse. It's in quite a few products I use, so I tend to just use a standalone niacinamide just in the evening. But it's should I be using for a serum? Just a pea-size amount. Retinol, definitely a pea-size amount. Cleanser, as much as you want. You can go mad with cleanser. And moisturizer, whatever your body needs. I just listen to what your body needs. The key ones to make sure you're not overusing: retinol, pea-size amount, exfoliators. You don't want to overuse exfoliators. JK Loves Maui says, this is Jen. Hello, my love. How are you? Congrats on hitting 10k. Thank you so much. And thank you for all the support you guys have given me over all these years. I know who you are. We've had the people that have been there from the start, and thank you so much. 1 second. My dog is just playing up. Where with? This is the perils of a live chat. I've got my dog here who is gorgeous, but he's desperate for his walk and he's decided to start chewing his blanket, which he's not allowed to do. Hi, Sterling. But he's very cute. So let's keep going with the questions. We're coming up to time now, but I'm going to keep going. So if you've got any questions, still leave them, and we don't just cut it off. Colleen says, oh my god, congrats on 10k. Yours is a channel I will always watch ads all the way through because of your compassion. Oh, thank you so much. I do always say we give half of our money to ads. Feel free to skip them if you want, but if you watch an ad, half of the money goes to charity, so you're doing a little bit of good. Because I do like to give back where I can. Dara says, I started Accutane for my rosacea. I'll be doing an update video soon. Oh, fantastic. I've actually checked out your channel, Dara, so thank you so much. And I'll link it actually below when I come to upload this in the morning. And I love to see how people tackle rosacea. It's not something I suffer with, but it's so prevalent and it can be so miserable for people who suffer with it. So I can't wait for that video. Simon says, hello there. Hello, Simon. Welcome to the live chat and welcome to the channel. Thanks for joining us. Chris says, can cleansers cause you to purge? In theory, yes, but it's very rare for it to cause you to purge. Most likely it's causing you to break out because it's the wrong cleanser for your skin type. Maybe it's too rich, too oily. In theory, it won't increase cellular turnover, so it would be rare for them to purge. But if they've got microbeads in, it could. Equally, if they've got something like salicylic acid in there, potentially it could. But a standard cleanser shouldn't cause you to purge, no. Just before I continue, if you could click that thumbs up button, it really helps the channel, so smash that thumbs up if you haven't already. Simon says, what do you think about Nip and Fab Retinol Booster Serum? I love Nip and Fab. They're cruelty-free. They're an amazing skincare line. I find them a little bit overly fragranced. So if you're sensitive to fragrance, it can be a little bit much. All their products are like hella fragrance. So that's something to bear in mind. But if you're not bothered by fragrance, I think Nip and Fab and their retinol is one of my go-tos. I love it, love it, love it. Quirky Beauty says, thank you for the clarification on the lactic acid and retinol. It's a pleasure, my love. Gabby says, what do you think about the Naturium Hyaluronic Essence and the Vitamin C Super Serum Plus? I think Naturium is great. What I would have liked them to do, instead of drip feeding products, because they seem to bring out a product every week, I would have actually liked them to have expanded their shipping. So they only ship to the US. So here in Europe, we miss out on the products. So I would much rather, instead of them drip feeding new products after one at a time, I'd like them to have increased their range and scope so we could have enjoyed their products in Europe or tried them in Europe. The essence is fine. It's an essence. It'll hydrate, but I don't think it'll do much more than a normal hyaluronic acid. And I actually think their hyaluronic acid is better than their essence. But that's just personal preference. Have you tried them? What do you think? Kenny says, I have pigmentation on my contour areas. What should I do for that? I did a whole video on pigmentation, which I recommend you check out because it's got some really good options in there. But I would get a pigmentation corrector, so differing dark spot corrector, Neod Repigment, or Alpha Arbutin by The Ordinary are all fantastic, and they'll just really help to take down some of the pigmentation in the skin. Brit M says, thoughts on face theory. Everyone wants face theory. Everybody wants a face theory review. I have their products coming to me in the next week. I'll be trying them and I'll be doing a full review. I haven't tried them, so I can't give my thoughts now, but they are on their way to me, so I will be telling you exactly what I think of face theory. They're huge at the moment and their ingredients look amazing, so I cannot wait to try them. Then we've got Rachel says, what's the best for sudden eye bags that aren't bad or noticeable at first? The greatest thing for eye bags is to keep hydrated, so plenty of water, and use a peptide serum underneath, but also use a caffeine solution. Caffeine will help with water retention, which is often what causes eye bags, and just get that lymph fluid moving. Also, facial massage is fantastic. Just massaging in circular motions, always to the tear duct, because that's where we expel the lymph from. So just massaging like that when you've got your cleanser on will really, really help, and is so underestimated. It's free and it's so easy to do. Facial massage in the eye area is beautiful. Go gentle, light touch, and always inwards to the tear duct. Linda, welcome, my love. How are you? Don't worry about joining. I put a shirt on because I thought I'm going to dress up for you guys. A little bit hot, but you know, never mind. Kelly says, which peptide serums would you recommend for acne scars? Any peptide serum will work because peptides will just help to increase the collagen level in the skin, which will make the scars look shallower. I think the collagen booster serum by the Inkey is the cheapest and most effective for the price you're paying. £6 here in the UK, $9 in the US. I personally would go for that. I think it's beautiful. I talked a lot about it in my 5 best and 5 worst of the Inkey videos, so if you want to know a bit more about it, check that out. It's a gorgeous product. Duncan says, what do I think of skincare marketed specifically for men? Duncan, that's a great question. I hate it. Skincare isn't gendered. You know, men have same issues that women have. You can have oily skin. I don't understand why we have to have skincare targeted at men. And I'm really glad that most brands formed today, The Ordinary, the Inkey, Paula's Choice, is kind of geared towards unisex rather than just women or men. I do appreciate that some men out there, and I'm sure that women can attest to their husbands being like this, won't touch skincare that they think is women's skincare. So I think that I would rather men use men's skincare than no skincare at all, but I don't actually think there's any need for it, and often it's more expensive than the women's, and I just think it's not necessary. If you love scent and you want to go for what is a more manly scent and you enjoy the scent, go for it. There's nothing wrong with men's skincare. I just don't want people paying more for a man's product that's the same as a woman's, just in darker packaging with a more masculine scent. But it's personal preference. As long as you're using skincare, I don't care. Men, women, go for it. You do you. But for me, I would personally go for a just skincare that I love. I do use some stuff that's targeted at women. I use quite a lot of stuff that's ungendered, you know, like The Ordinary is just there. It's personal preference. Let's have a look. Sarah says, is there anything tretinoin is not going to improve on a person's face? Oh, tretinoin is amazing. Retinols aren't cure-alls. You know, they do help with a lot of things and they are really good, but they can exacerbate dryness if they're not used correctly. So, but there's very few things that retinol can't improve. It's not going to cure overnight. You know, it'll help with pigmentation, for example, but it's not going to get rid of advanced melasma. You'll need another product in combination with it. So it's a great thing for everyone to have in their routine, but you might need to supplement it with additional things to support with the things that you're specifically trying to target, if that makes sense. Now, let me just load the latest questions that we've got. We are now at the end of the live stream. To them in the comments below. T. Richardson says, your channel is great. What do you think about salicylic acid peel on black skin? I'd be super careful about peels on darker skin tones because it can lead to patchiness and issues with pigmentation. It's fine. It is fine to use salicylic acid, but if you're going to have a peel and you have darker skin, I would go to an esthetician or dermatologist who'll be able to do one that's right for your skin. I think lighter skin types react much better, much more predictably, shall we say, to peels, which makes them easier to use, particularly at home. For darker skin tones, I personally would see a dermatologist or an esthetician just to make sure you get the product that's right for you. But salicylic acid can be used on dark skin tones beautifully, so there's no reason it shouldn't work. I would just use it in a more controlled environment. And Brit M says, I woke up this morning with a pimple in my mouth and it hurts to smile. Any tips on how to get rid of it? I assume it's with a pimple by your mouth. It's difficult. If it's really hurting, if you squeeze it, it will diminish the amount of time it takes to heal. I'll keep it moisturized because you don't want it to crack. The key thing is don't let it crack, so put moisturizer on it. If it really does bother you, then to squeeze it, but make sure you have impeccably clean hands and don't press too hard. Just let it come to the surface. If it's under the surface, unfortunately there's nothing you can do. Just ride it out. I'm really sorry, there's nothing worse than when you get one of those pimples. I hear you, hon. I hear you, hon. So C Shy says, my skin has started to feel sensitive due to my current skincare routine. I think my moisture barrier might be compromised. What routine of products would you recommend? If you're finding the products you're using at the moment are making your skin sensitive, dial them back. So what I would recommend is just going back to cleansing and moisturizing, literally nothing else. Then once you've done that for a week, that'll let the barrier function heal. And then I would add in your favorite serum. And then I would add things once at a time. And if you find anything particularly triggering and can cause that sensitivity, take it back out of your routine again. But I would go back to just cleansing and moisturizing for a week, letting the barrier repair, and then adding things back in and isolating the one product that's in your routine that's making you sensitive. We are coming to an end now, guys, so if you could hit that thumbs up button, I would love you forever. We've got a couple more questions to answer, so I'm going to go through them, but now's a great time to smash that like button. JK says, are you planning to review Youth to the People? I am. I have quite a few stuff. I've tried their cleanser before, but I haven't tried a lot of their products. But I am going to be doing a full review on Youth to the People in the coming month. I can't do it sooner because I'm waiting. Love Youth to the People, and so I wouldn't be doing them justice to not have a review on this channel. So it's coming up. Do not despair. Let's have a look. Roxana says, I love your video so much. Thank you so much, hon. I was wondering if as a teenager I could start using alpha-arbutin and ascorbic acid from The Ordinary. You can, my love. It's suitable for all ages. Just make sure that it's applicable to your skin type. I don't know what your skin type is, but it'll really help to brighten the skin. And if you've got any blemishes which have left marks, it'll help to eradicate them. So yes, it's really, really great, but it can be a little drying. So just make sure you're not super dry skin to start with. Hadass and stuff says, I love your channel. Thank you, hun. I've heard that the Purito mineral sunscreen doesn't have enough zinc oxide and titanium dioxide, and it's not a real 50 SPF. What do I think? This is a really good comment that I do get quite a lot. Sunscreens are tested robustly. I hate it when people say it hasn't got enough of an ingredient in to work. They are tested robustly, and their testing has to be peer reviewed. So just because a product doesn't have a huge amount of an ingredient in, it doesn't mean it's not working, because it's not just the ingredient that matters, it's the formulation that goes into it. A really good example is the Neod Survival range, which has a SPF in that has a very low amount of the active ingredient that prevents sun damage, the titanium dioxide. But because of the way it's formulated, it doesn't need as much as in a standard SPF. So don't just assume. I hate it when people, not you, but I hate it when people write and say it's not working because it hasn't got a shit ton of an ingredient in. It doesn't need to. Good formulating means you don't need as much of the active, the key ingredient as sloppy formulations, if that makes sense. I've used it. I've recently come back from the continent, from Europe, where it was super warm. I used it every single day and I did not burn. If you reapply regularly, it will give you the application, the protection that you need. We've got, so Nora says, good retinol recommendations. I did a whole video on my favourite recommendations for retinol, which check out because I couldn't do it justice in this live. But I would recommend the Incalist Grand Active Retinoid. I think it's just amazing. It's transformed my skin, and I don't think there's a better retinol out there. But fantastic question. McCullen says, I want to see the pup. Sterling, come here. I'll show you him. Come here. Oh, yes. There he is. He's ready for his walk. Yes, he's saying, cut your life short because I'm desperate for my walk, aren't you? He's a gorgeous little boy. Let's see what other questions we have. Jenny says, we love our Sterling, Marcel and Leah. Yeah, I don't have a favourite. I love them all too much. But he's covered in, I'm going to be covered in dog hairs. And now I've super excited him. Jenny says, thank you for answering all the questions. It's a pleasure, Jenny. Thank you for joining us as always, hon. Chelsea says, I have a serum that has 20% vitamin C, 2% salicylic acid and hyaluronic acid in, and 2% plant-derived retinol. Is it too harsh? No. It seems like a great serum. What name is it, Chelsea? I'd love to know. But yeah, it seems like it's got everything in there together. Just make sure that you're using it, introduce it gradually into the routine. Don't just use it every night straight off, and you'll see some great results. Chris says, thank you so much for answering the questions. Chris, it's a total pleasure. Chelsea says, does Retin-A help with hyperpigmentation? It does, but you will need to use other pigment correctors as well. So check out my video I did on hyperpigmentation, and that'll help you choose something to use as well as the retinol to supercharge it. And that, guys, unfortunately is going to come to an end. I don't think my dog will wait for his walk any longer. Will you, Sterling? So I'm just having a look to see if we've got any questions that I've missed. VS Travel says, do you use hyaluronic acid serum before or after a chemical exfoliant? Always after, because you want to use your SPF first, your chemical exfoliator first. Guys, thank you so much for joining. It's been wonderful. Thank you wherever you are in the world. I hope you're staying safe and well. If I missed your question, please, because I scroll through and sometimes I do miss them, leave me a comment below and I will get onto it straight away. I read all the questions and I'll answer every single one of you. If you haven't already, please give the video a thumbs up, and wherever you are in the world, guys, stay safe, stay well. I'm sending you lots of love from the UK. Take care. Bye.